Oh, what is going on? Jason Suchich is P1 tonight. Welcome, everybody. Another edition of the Northwest Race Report. I am your horsepower and performance broadcaster, Terry Bridges. Sitting alongside me in the house is my main man, Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower. What's shaking, Lip?
It's all good in the hood tonight.
Yeah.
Rusty Rossmeyer, P2, and Rick Worley coming in P3.
Yeah, baby. You know, got a great show for you tonight. Those of you that may be new, just tuning in, this is the Northwest Race Report. And what we're all about is we've got news, results, topics of discussion, all kinds of different stuff. Just kind of depends on what's going on. But hopefully you learn a little something as well as get entertained for the next hour and 15 minutes. Tonight, we're going to be talking on part 2 of our a series of 3 segments on people, processes, and products. And tonight we'll be talking with Ray Smith on the process side of things. And I'm sure he's got some interesting stuff. He'll be calling in at about 55 after the hour, so we got about 25 minutes to get things rolling. But, yeah, that's what you can expect. Tonight we got a good show. We got, upcoming next week, we've got Dylan Lamberth on our show as we kick off. We're going to start heading towards the Cage Cup. Got a big Cage Cup weekend coming up March 18th through the 20th. That's one of the bigger events going on. And then Matt Enos on March 9th. He will be our in-the-seat guest, powered by Blue Line Graphics. And he'll be talking a little bit. He's the promoter of the Cage Cup, so he'll be talking a little bit about what we can expect, what's going to be going on, and all kinds of good stuff like that. I don't have a guest yet for the 16th, but we're going to be working on that. So if you've got any... if you got any suggestions, we'll get after it. Looks like tonight we're going to be giving away $100 courtesy of Smith Motorsports. And here's how that's going to work. We'll break it down for you before we get into our Winner Circle Wednesday. Ray Smith, it's $100, and what it's going to do is it's going to be 2 $50 gift certificates. One from CMC, Competition Motors Corp., Don Humboldt, and the other 50 will be from Cartorama, Roger Semero, running his great shop up here in the Washington area. So Smith is kind of spreading the love for everybody, and it's cool. Kyle Keenan, right on, man. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. So how it's going to work is if you're a member of a club, you're going to get 2 points. If you're a board member, a president, a vice president, a treasurer, whatever you may be on the board of directors, whatever it is, you're going to get 1 point because we wanted to get some of the members in there for that. So $100, that's Ray Smith. That's how much he believes in this process. So, if you've got a notepad, I suggest you take a few notes. He's got some good stuff here that certainly can't hurt any club. I mean, what do you think, Lip?
No, I think it's a great idea and a great experiment here. I got one question. What's the TCKC?
That's the Tri-Cities Kart Club.
So we got 4 clubs going for it. Then TCKC. So far, CKA's pulling in with 5, and Salem's right in there with 4. So it's neck and neck, and TCKC has 1.
You just got one from the Snake River Carters, Joe Ransom.
Joe Ransom.
Wow, this is going to get competitive. This is going to be cool. This is going to be kind of like a little race going on here. I'm kind of digging it. So, that's what's going on tonight. Looking forward to talking to Ray at about 55 after the hour. But let's get into a little Winner's Circle Wednesday. And, of course, as always, Winner Circle Wednesday brought to you by the good folks at Wicked Fabrication in Auburn, Washington. Since 2002, Wicked Fab has been doing the finest hot rod fabrication there is, bar none. Craig Wick and his group can help you out from mild to wild. So when you're thinking hot rods, think Wicked Fab. You can check them out on Facebook, Wicked Fab, or go to www.wickedfab.com. And it's time. Not a lot going on, Lippy, as far as in the news. or actually even results. I mean, there's a little bit in the news. Sid White Memorial was going on down in Cali, Pebble Beach or whatever it is down in that way. And it looked like Team Swiss, which I think was Gulix and Darren Markham, some of the folks from Wetline Racing. Justin Beard in the house. Thanks for being here, buddy. And so they won World Formula Senior. Egan Motorsports was P1, I think, in Masters. They didn't have a very good breakdown as to what was going on as far as the lineup. So sorry to say, that's about really all I know. They had some, it didn't register or, no data was available. So Sid White Memorial's going on. Good cause. Sid White, a big four-stroke guy. And in his behalf, everybody got together. And this is, I think, the second annual event, so it was pretty cool. That's awesome stuff. National Karting League down in Dogwood Speedway, and the reason why I kind of brought this up is because the winner was one of the guests on our show. His name was no pun intended here, but his name is Jonathan Cash, and Cash he did. I think it was worth $5,000 as he won the Clone Pro Clone division down there at the National Karting League in Dogwood Speedway. So good stuff. Hunter Curtis was second. Shay Chavis was third. Jamie Knopf fourth. And fifth was Chad Glover. Boy, those are some hitters right there. Jamie Knopf, Shay Chavis. I mean, those dudes are tough, let me tell you. And then you've got one of our other guests on the show, Jammin' Jimmy Rogers. Not probably what he wanted to have go his way, but he was 17th. So Jammin' Jimmy was a little bit off the pace, but nonetheless, that was going on in the National Karting League, Dogwood Speedway. I was fortunate enough to go to the CKA club meeting. Actually, I became a member of that club.
Yes, you did.
And it was cool. A little disappointing. That especially since we're having the show tonight about with trying to get clubs involved, it was a little disappointing, I gotta say. I mean, just the turnout was poor. I mean, it just I'm not sure I understand why. I mean, it's just I get there's other things to do and maybe and it's Sunday and all, but my goodness, come out and support that club. I mean, they're doing good things, and I know you can't really say anything being the Prezi, but I mean, still, it's got to be a little disappointing to you.
It was an average sized crowd for us, so I was glad to see that. It is disappointing, people don't want to be involved. It's kind of funny, because once the meeting's over and then the next day afterwards, my phone really blows up because everybody wants to know what happened and what happened with this and what happened with that. But they really don't want to get involved, and it is extremely frustrating, especially when they voice their opinion of dislike on what happened during the meeting. And it's, we're a democratic or, however you want to put it, club. Voting matters, really. It's all put to a vote, and the majority rules. So, that's the best way, if you want to become involved or you want to change things, it's to show up and have a voice and make a decision that's good for everybody, really. But it's just not seeming to happen. So what do you do? I mean, I can't get discouraged because it just wouldn't keep going if I did. So.
Well, I don't know about but discouraged, but I mean, wow, if you count yourself and Lorenz and Brenda, I mean, because is she part of the board?
She's my secretary.
Yeah, so I mean, three of the were there even 10 people there?
Nope. Mm-mm.
So I mean that's where it's really sad is the fact that there wasn't even 10 people at this club. Now I know there's more than 10 members.
Yes.
I mean I don't know how many there is, but I mean how many?
We're about 42 to 48 strong, somewhere right in there of members that are consistent year to year. But getting them all to show up, unless I threaten them with, not being a member, then they just don't show up. So
yeah, that's a shame. But you can fix it, and like you said, everything is put to a vote. Man, if you want something to take place, my goodness, get there. I mean, you can't really. I guess the bottom line is that old saying, you can't really bitch if you don't vote.
Yes, they can and do. And let me just give you an example that some people that want to run in the we're working on getting changed to the Predator class. We're quite disappointed that we didn't enforce or change the rules to make taking the fuel tanks off the motors and putting them on the floor pans. I've had 2 people call me up and say that they're just not going to participate in that class because they feel it's unsafe. And if we don't take the fuel tanks off of them, they're not going to run. But they didn't bother to show up to our meeting to even vote on that fact. So, come on, people. If you want change, you have to show up, you have to be involved, and you have to make it change. And you got to understand also that we're not just doing it as our club level. If we change it at our level, that affects everybody else down the line, i.e. Salem and anybody else, PKA, that wants to run the same class. If we decide to do it, then you change all that. Then you go to Salem and they don't allow it. See, that just doesn't work.
Well, yeah, you lose all those people that aren't going to either conform to that or yeah.
Exactly. We're doing this to stay in compliance with everybody else that's offering the same class. If we stand out alone, it doesn't work. We have to change collectively, and it just doesn't happen that way. So I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I mean, it's something that needs to be put out there. I mean, again, and I'm sure that's part of this 3P thing that we've been talking about with Ray Smith is the fact that you do. Change only comes if you come and put in your vote and bring those people that believe in it. Man, if you believe so strongly in that, my question would be, why wouldn't you be there to vote it in? I mean, that's the real question.
Exactly.
But but in other news, the UAS Grands are going to be at Why Not Motorsports Park this year. That's in Meridian, Mississippi. So I would ask you to swing by there and like them on Facebook. Why Not Motorsports Park on Facebook. Dave Chisholm's going to be heading up that deal. So that's going to be a quality event. He gets things done, and he's going to be a great ambassador to have running the Grands there, because it's the Mississippi Unlimited All-Stars that are going to be basically hosting that. So
that's Chizzy's track?
Yeah. Well, it's not his track, but that's where they're having it, and his club is they're going to be.
God, we got to get back there for that.
That would be cool. Also, I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, but there's a Mockingbird Racing Honor Roll program. And it's kind of set up by Damon Sullivan, who's down north. I'm going to have to get him on the show so he can talk a little bit more about this. But they're in need of some trophies. So if you have some extra trophies you don't need or you're willing to give up, they don't really care. It's just for the young kids so they can give these things out. They've got a pretty slick little program down there for the youngsters. Mockingbird Racing Honor Roll program. It's just kind of help keep the kids in check. So that's cool stuff. Damon Sullivan doing some good things down there. I just talked to Esquinia tonight, and BLG is going to be one of the sponsors at the Grands, because they're going to, or not the Grands, but for the Mississippi Unlimited All-Star Series, they're going to have, for their regional champ, they're going to give away a free wrap. So BLG, all you Mississippi Unlimited All-Star people, you're going to want to try to hit every event to win that championship so you can get a brand new wrap from Blue Line Graphics. So that's cool stuff. And speaking of Blue Line Graphics, they were on Terry Lawrence's ride, who went down to the Leon Grand Prix down in Mexico. And I guess he ran fourth for about the first 4 laps and having some trouble getting some rear grip. So he ended up 5th, but man, that's a good run for Northwest boy from Boise, Idaho, down there in Mexico.
Yes, it is. Nice job. And that's a heck of a traveling trip. I love those guys. They're just like all over the place.
Yeah, big shout out to APEC Karting for putting Terry in that car, and Carlos Medina for making it happen. So that's good stuff. Local boy doing good down there, old T. Lawrence. And, and he runs out of the E-Shifter Kart camp out there, too, over there in Boise. So eShifterKart.com. You should check them out. They've got some exciting new stuff up on their website. And PKA is you can save $50 on your membership. You've only got 2 weeks left, though. It was 2 weeks from, I think it was Sunday. So you've got 2 weeks to save $50 by getting your early bird membership. And they also are looking for a host to run practices on Saturday throughout the summer and kind of into the fall. So if that's something you're interested in, either saving $50 on your membership, which I think would be a pretty good, healthy savings, or you're willing to host some practices on Saturday, give Sharon at PKA a call at 971-241-8075. Again, that's 971-241-8075, and help out that club. They've got some good things going there. Again, CKA came out with their summer sizzle schedule for 2016, and it's going to kick things off on May 28th and 29th, Memorial Day weekend. And the 28th, by the way, is not a practice day. It is a race day. So
doubleheader.
Yep, that's Saturday and Sunday. Good way to kick off the year with a bunch of racing there. June 18th. Then it goes into July. I think it's August 6th. August 19, 20.
That'd be the Betty.
And 21. That's the fourth annual Betty Boop Memorial. So you definitely want to get that. That's the summertime BK around here. So that should be a heck of a good show. Yamaha Light, Yamaha Heavy, all the same, pretty much the same classes as the BK, pretty much. I would think.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And we did vote in the LO206 class as well as the what we're in the midst of changing to the Predator class, which was formerly known as a fart cart. We also voted that in this year. So we're going to have both of those classes running up at our track. And forgive me, people, if I'm not chiming in here a lot. I'm trying to keep track of who's who and who's signing in. So far, Salem is busting out with the lead here. They got 9. CKA's pulling in with 5, and then
you got one Snake River Carter, which was Joe Ransom.
We got 3
Snake
Rivers, and PKA's down with 2, and then the TCKC with 4.
Wow,
so.
I'm surprised. I thought PKA would be right up there. That's I had a great conversation with Mike Shorn yesterday, and he was actually pretty excited. He said, "Man, I'd like to win that $100, but." So come on, PKA people.
And I think, didn't he change it? He's going to do 50 and 50, 50 at Carterama and
50 at
CMC.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I think just spreading the love, that's pretty awesome.
Definitely moving it around. Who? Dennis and Trammell.
Yep. So that's what's going on. We're kind of keeping score. Ray Smith's going to be here in about 7 minutes. He's going to give us a call. Also, we've got a new deal. We're going to I just talked to him about it today, and you'll be meeting him tonight. His name is Aaron Nelliton, and some of you may know Aaron. He is a driver coach for the pavement drivers. And way back, he was on Team Sodi, so he drove for Sodi Kart along with Terry Lawrence. And he's going to be kind of our in the field kind of guy. He goes to a lot of the big sprint events, like the Florida Winter Tour or, say, the Challenge of the Americas, things of that nature. So what he's going to do is wherever he is on Wednesday nights, he's going to chime in and let us know, kind of give us the lowdown and the skivvy on what's happening on the pavement side, because it's hard to find information. I mean, the info's out there, but it's just not quite the same as when you have somebody there. So he's going to be kind of our Northwest Race Report in the field reporter. And if he doesn't have anything, say he's not at an event, it's going to be great to have him because he's got all kinds of tips and tricks from his many years of either driving or driver coaching. and so he'll have something on his mind. So between lapping with Lippy and Aaron Nelliton, man, we're going to give you guys some good information. You guys should be ready to rock and roll for 2016.
Definitely. We should also acknowledge the Big Al deal that we went to.
Oh, yeah.
I see that Sean in the Dirt was on here as well, and thanks for showing up. We really appreciate that. We had a real blast up there at your guys' show. That was just off the hook. That's all I can say.
And they were the fastest indoor carts I think I've ever seen. I mean, they scooted, man.
They were rocking. That was pretty awesome. I'd never been to tracks before. And just the whole facility really just opened my eyes to what indoor karting should be, because that was just awesome. I like the flyovers where you could walk over the track and see people racing, and the different levels that they had there. And the lighting was so cool because it was all motion lighting. So as there wasn't any activity on the track, the track would go dim. But as soon as the karts would come out onto the track and start going, the lights would start coming on. And it was just, I don't know, it was just really cool.
It was a cool ambiance there. And when we said walkovers, they were like little sky bridges that you could walk across the racetrack. And then, of course, I was there and I had my headphones on, did a little bit of pit reporting, talked to a few of the people, but man, Molly Helmuth was there. Boy, they had Donnie Wanat was there. He ran pretty good. But the old guy put it to him. Maurice.
Man.
He cleaned their clocks. And so that was a good event. I think they raised a bunch. The Rocket was in attendance.
He was. Ronnie and Shane Carr both were there,
yep.
Hanging out, shaking hands, talking to people. It was great.
Yep, it was cool. Got to see Kevin Crum, a lot of the former quarter midget guys that are now doing some of the micro stuff. And that brings me to another point. Speaking of micros, this weekend it is going to be huge at Salem Speedway. Those of you that may know her name is Lindsey Barney. She's got a 600 open micro, and there's a bounty on her head. I guess it's up. It started out at $300. Well, first Jason, I think, put up $100. Then it went to $300. Then it went to $500. Now it's over $600 of a bounty for anybody that can go in there and beat Lindsey Barney. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? She's a girl, right? It should be easy to beat her. Not. But you can come try. $600 is going to be what you get for doing it if you can beat her. She is unbeaten there at Salem, so I don't care who you run against. If you're unbeaten, you're unbeaten. I mean, that's just how it is. So $600 in cash and prizes going out, and you never know. People will probably step up and put up more when you get there. So you just never know. You got to be there to find out. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing my. I won't be there actually announcing, but I'll be there doing a live broadcast from that. So that'll be kind of cool. Because I want to see that bounty. That's going to be that should be a heck of a show.
It should be a heck of a show. Rusty and I are actually we're contemplating we might go down there. The boss man Scott McDowell is going to make that race, and we might go down and pit with him just to get Ollie up there and give Sizzle and Seth something to shoot for.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle too.
Yeah,
he said Sizzle and Seth is going down, but I say it's going to be kind of tough. So, what's the score looking like?
So far, Salem's still pulling it ahead. They got 10 now. CKA's coming in second with 5. Snake River's fourth. And TCKC is still 4-2. Still has 4. And then PKA has 2. So,
boy, PKA bringing up the field. Wow. So, did Sean Carr check in?
I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, it surprised me. But Scott Keeney, hey, Scott, I was going to let you know, too. I talked to Brian. You need to give him a call at BLG. He'll have just something up your alley to put on that gorgeous new dirt ride of yours.
Did you see what he's got putting on there? That is just so cool. His son, I believe, is the one that runs the beer company that he's putting on the side of it, and then he's going to put all hopped up on it.
Cool.
And that is just so cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I would have never thought of that. And his ride is looking really sweet too.
It was. That was a sweet mount. I mean,
man,
the mounting. I mean, it was all aluminum. I mean, it was sweet. I mean, it's. It'll look good rolling in on the 28th, to that opening CKA event. I know that. That's going to be kind of cool.
I like to call that kind of stuff cart porn because that's exactly what it is for me. It's cart porn.
Yes, it is. That is a fact. Clark Family Racing in the house, too. Mikey Clark and Mike Clark and Becca. Big shout out to them. That's cool stuff. Glad they're here on the show. I think they're pretty heavy listeners to the show, which is pretty awesome. So coming up next, Ray Smith. He is going to be talking about the 3 Ps. Last week we talked about people and how you have to have the right people in the right place to make things really happen. There's a lot more to that than meets the eye. You can't just shove anybody anywhere. He's more or less talking about, you've got to have the right personalities to be doing, tech and registration and all that stuff, especially registration because you're the first person that people meet when you get to the racetrack. I'll tell you, one of the top clubs besides Snake River Karters is the Tri-Cities Kart Club. I went there to their night race, and you talk about having the right people in the right places and whatever. You got there, and everybody was smiling. I mean, it was off the chain. And so when that happens, the event goes off without a hitch. Ray Smith, how are you, buddy?
Got nothing in my headphones.
Yeah, we got it. I got it here. There you are. How are you doing, Ray Smith?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic, my man. Hey, listen, BLG customers love the unique, durable, and great-looking race graphics. Get your wraps, graphic kits, logos, and more by going to www.blg.blue. Stand out, look good, get noticed. Ray Smith, I was just introducing kind of what we talked about last week, the people, how you have to have the right people in the right process, in the right places in order to get things going, especially in registration where you're the first person that they meet. But you can probably vouch for me on this because you were there. The night race at Tri-Cities. That's a perfect example of having the right people in the right places because when you got there, everybody had a smile on their face. They greeted you. They were happy you were there. They made you feel super welcome. That was a pretty good event.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. They did. Those guys up there, that organization does fairly well. And you're right. They've got the right people plugged into the right places.
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight, Ray is going to kind of bring up the second part of these 3 Ps, and that is the processes, which, I have to say is probably just as important as having the right people in the right places, because if you don't have the right process to go with those right people, everything's going to go haywire. Is that a good assumption?
In a capacity, but if you don't have that process for that particular task, then you just have a good person, fulfilling that role, and they could struggle through that. They could struggle through that real easily. So the process is definitely the most. I think it's the most. I should say it's a component, right? Because the 3 Ps make up the success, and the first 2 contribute to the product, which we're going to talk about next week. But yeah,
that's going to be awesome. So I kind of was letting everybody know that the reason for this, for your putting up this $100 is because you truly believe in this process. So. With that, I'm just going to kind of let you roll into your second part of our 3 Ps, the processes. So it's all yours, man.
Okay, man. Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Let's chime in, as needed. So
absolutely.
First off, Terry, you asked me, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you putting this up? And I just wanted to put a validation stamp on it, a little bit of horsepower, or call it $100, whatever you want to call it, but put a stamp on it saying, hey guys, this stuff's important. So it's pretty awesome seeing everybody chiming in and representing their club. So it's going to be awesome. So let's talk about processes. Last week, as mentioned, we talked about people, right places, and the process portion of it. Just as with the people portion of it, you got to have the right people underneath the tent. You got to have the right people that you mentor, that you call and ask questions, that you get support from, so on and so forth. So it's the same under the tent as it is, within the organization. So today or tonight, let's just keep that in mind as the process. I'll probably focus more around the process of the organization or processes in the organization, but it applies as well, underneath the tent, getting ready for the race, so on and so forth. But we've put some of this stuff into play, quite a bit of it, and we're still learning, we're still growing at St. Louis Carter's, Diamond Star, Idaho, so we're not perfect, but we do have our sights set on making improvements. So, and we've seen huge improvements start there. Just start off process, club meetings. I'm sure every club has them. Every club has board meetings. If not, you guys, I feel that you should. It's an opportunity to get together once a month. And our format is we have a club meeting, and that lasts for an hour, and then that's followed by a board meeting. So a lot of people attend a lot of meetings during their work day, and they're not too excited about it. But put together that club meeting if you don't have one, and make it consistent. The same time, the same day of the month, the same location. Have them set up a room for you. Most restaurants, we hold it at a Mexican restaurant here in town, and they set up that room for us. We put the leadership team, the officers up at one end of the table, and kind of have everybody sat down a long row so everybody can hear and participate. We format those meetings the same every month. I've got an agenda that gets sent out ahead of time. That's the goal, is to send it out ahead of time so people have time to look at it. But it just fosters good conversation, allows you to reach out for the members to reach up, and you get that personal touch. So there's a lot of dialogue that comes out of those meetings as well. So seems like a small thing, but again, it's part of the big picture of the process.
Well, I think where that would help is if you get it the night of, you know how it is. You could be mad at your boss, and and if you've got time to think about it, you're going to say, well, I'm going to tell him this, and I'm going to tell him that, and I'm going to tell him, But if you just get there and it happens, you really don't have time to ponder anything, right? So this gives you a chance to kind of read over what's going on and really get your wits about you, and then come there loaded with some legitimate questions that, maybe you've had time to think about, and you're not just thinking off the cuff, blowing up, losing your mind, going, what are you talking about? It gives you some time to kind of calm down, read it over, and then ask some good legitimate questions.
That's right. And one thing, part of our process is, sometimes the conversations get overheated. It's not necessarily intended, for a complaint session, and people have constructive criticism, and we try to steer those conversations, those discussions in a productive manner. So within that club meeting, there's a bunch of little pieces to the process as well. We roll into that board meeting, and the board meeting is usually got a predetermined agenda, and we talk about those things on the agenda. And folks, there's things that always come up, so I get that, and there's things that come up in our meetings as well. And sometimes we'll do a little deeper dive into the topic, and other times, we'll just table it for the next month, so we can take the quality time to have a discussion about whatever the topic may be. So anyway, meetings, stay on the agenda, stay to a timeline, stay at task, encourage open dialogue and the discussion. Don't get into arguments. Keep those personal feelings subsided the best you can, and make it productive. So, getting into an event day, we talked about the right people in scoring registration. That's the first people you see or you interact with usually when you have an event. Scoring registration process. There's a whole bucket full of details in this one. So I'm just going to hit it kind of at a high level, but make sure you have all the forms, are ready for that day. We've got 3 or 4 forms that, the form that everybody has to sign up on. You've got your minor release form. You've got your adult waivers. You've got, wristbands that you're going to issue out. You got your wristband log sheet, the log numbers. So, there's a process in itself within scoring and registration to help that run smoothly. And I think we've all been there and seen that not run very smooth.
Definitely. I think that helps, just with, like you were saying, with the consistency and having it at the same place, same time, same everything, all that helps so much that people, it just really gets it engraved into them on when it is and when they need to be where.
Yep.
And then,
for sure, Lippy.
Yeah, and then just being prepared. I mean, gosh, everybody thinks that's so much, just what happens, but it's not. It takes thought by everybody involved, and just being prepared. So.
Yeah, so have those forms in order, have the payment schedules, your fees. I'm going to touch on this here down in the accounting piece, but we use QuickBooks. It's live at our events. So we're using that accounting software for registration. And again, like you indicated, it helps keep things in order. Even down to the detail stuff. Put all your pins in a coffee cup or a coffee can so they're easy to get to. People aren't searching around for a writing stick, and have plenty of writing sticks so more than one person can start filling out paperwork. Have your transponders charged, get those plugged in the night before. Just be prepared. Have your text sheets. We use 2 different color text sheets. We use a minor text sheet and an adult text sheet. They're both the same self-text sheet. They're just different colors because that helps us after a driver's meeting or during the driver's meeting. We take roll call, and then we'll take those orange junior text sheets, and those kids and young adults go down on the grid, and they get a little pep talk of either by the flagman, the race director, tech, the grid steward, what have you. So some of those small details, again, that are part of the process up in scoring registration really facilitate the day and make it run smoother.
That's awesome. That is super awesome. Those of you just joining us, we are talking to IKF Governor of Idaho, Ray Smith. He is also the Snake River Carters president, and he's talking to us about the processes. So let's see here. Let's see.
I also like one of the things we do at our club is once you sign in, you have to give us your email address, which is a great tool. And then we can categorize whether they're a member or just a racer, and we categorize them that way. And then we can, help with our mass mailers and different information that we want to get out. If we want it to go to the club members, we can hit one group. If we want it to go to racers, we can hit another group. And
Sure.
That is always being worked on, but that's a great tool to gather the information and get the word back out to people.
Yeah, the other thing too is just payment. Your POS system. Have that up and going and make sure it's prepared. Make sure you have enough cash on hand for change. Have your club stamp for checks, so just everything goes right into. Have a cash box. Don't keep the stuff in a banker's bag where you're fumbling through. Have some organization. Again, which will just help in the process. A lot of people use a Square. Have that thing plugged in. Have the phone plugged in the wall so it's not dead. It doesn't boot you out. What have you? And then you can process that stuff quickly and efficiently and in order. And there again, on the back end, at the end of the day, the process of accounting for the day's event is just going to be that much more, more efficient.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it makes the end of the day go so much faster when you got half the paperwork done when you're done with registration. So, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
You bet. Scoring again, have scoring. I think everybody pretty much uses MyLaps. You can build those races ahead of time in MyLaps, I believe, and have those races, have that stuff built, ready to go. Don't be trying to do that when don't slack off in that process and try to do that when we're trying to start a race. It's important that that stuff be ready to go, because again, part of the process, I don't mean to keep beating it, but the process will be much more efficient, and it'll help the event run smoother, and you'll have your participants will be much happier for sure. So that part of that process of scoring is essential as well.
Well, hey, while we got a second, Ray, let's kind of give an unofficial count here on the score from Lippy.
Looks like
where we at?
Salem's still pulling the lead. We got 14 there. TCKC has pulled into second place with 7, and then CKA is 6, Snake River is 5, and PKA is 2. Excuse me. So Salem's
nice.
Pulling it, and TCKC has pulled into second.
It's kind of like we got a car race going on here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Terry's gonna bust into announcer mode, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
down the front stretch, we got Salem Speedway leading the way.
Yeah, we got Tri-Cities coming out of 3. They're right on the tail.
So
it's all too early. Hope he's got that clutch adjusted right.
That's it. No kidding. And PKA, boy, they're back in the pit area, boy. They're down with 2. Wow.
Hey, we called them up. We called them to racing up. We're not calling them up anymore. Okay. Hey, so anyway, back one point, and I think it was Ricky Worley here. Register the right transponder.
Yeah, big
part
one.
Of the process. Yeah, part of the process. So I'll fast forward here a little bit to the event. How we're gonna conduct the race event. Get that race schedule. And I know at the club level it's difficult, and we've struggled with this, and we're going to do a much better job this year. But put a schedule up. Either have one printed in your rule book. That's a good foundation. But have a day's events printed. Event schedule printed, put up on the side of the scoring trailer, or put up where you post the points, or somewhere where people can see it. And it doesn't have to be, let's face it. I mean, it is club racing, so the events are usually a little more relaxed and a little less stressful than a regional or a national event. But you will find that people want to stick to a time schedule. So if you can put up at least, registrations open, 7 to 8:30. Or 7:30 to 9. Drivers' meeting is going to be at 9:15. We're going to start our first practice session at 9:45. If you just have some general guidelines, not getting hung up in the minutiae detail about when every class is going to start, but just some general guidelines for the top. The top topics, which would be scoring, registration, drivers' meeting, when we're going to start practice, when we're going to start qualifying, when we're going to have our breaks, when we're going to start our heat race, when we're going to roll into our finals. You can kind of lay that schedule out loosely, because I know things happen, and but it gives you an opportunity. It gives the participants an opportunity to look at that schedule and know what today's events are going to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also as a promoter, race director, so on, it really gives you the power when somebody does drop the ball or show up a half an hour late and go, well, I didn't know. You can say it's been posted for a month. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like we just sprung it on you this morning or we decided to start an hour early. It's the way it's been. It's the way it's posted. So that works both ways. It informs the public and it also gives you something to fall back on when somebody's got you up against the wall wanting preferential treatment, we'll say, and you can say, look, you know, it's been up. So this works both ways. This is good stuff here, people. Everybody needs to be listening to this.
Yeah, and you know, Lippy, that's a good point, and I go back, I have a flashback there on some of the comments. It goes back to people in the right places, and one thing, again, at the club level, we're probably a little more lenient, but at the end of the day, let's just say, or not at the end of the day, but at the time of the event, let's say that somebody doesn't get there for scoring and registration, and they miss the driver's meeting. And they miss the driver's meeting, the process could be you start at the back of the pack at the heat race, because it's important. You know, it's important to be there because there's a lot of times there's important information that you're talking about today's events, right, or about the day's events.
Exactly.
So at the end, you know, you get somebody that comes in late or they miss the first practice for whatever reason, and they ask, you know, practice is all done, and you've got a 15-minute window between a break or between lunch or whatever your time schedule is. And I say, hey, you know, they come up and the race director, hey, Ray, I know practice is done. We have some problems. We missed the first one. Can we get out on the track for 3 laps or 4 laps? 9 times out of 10, we'll say yes. If you have that timeline and that time schedule, that timeline being the outline of the sequence of events for the day, you can look at that and you may be running a half hour, 40 minutes behind or 20 minutes behind, and that may be the time where we make the decision we can't afford to do it because we're falling behind, and that's going to put us farther behind. But as you indicated, with that being posted, they know they're just asking, they're asking for some leniency. Most of the time we're going to try to accommodate, but in the event that we can't, the information is it's posted. There it is. So it'll help you facilitate a more efficient race day as well. One thing we did last year was our class order, and there was a little bit of concern on, well, we can't run the same class order every race because we may have conflict, with 2 classes.
Yeah, absolutely. You may have somebody that's running 2 different classes, and you may have to switch things around just to give them a little bit of a break in between the 2.
Right, but here's what we found, and you'll always have that. So you move this class from you move World Formula, you separate it from Rotax, and you move it down and you put it next to Junior 2. It'll never fail that there's a World Formula driver that's got a junior driver, and they're going to be back to back, and essentially dad or grandpa or aunt or uncle or whomever is there at the track with the junior driver, they're going to be essentially out a full race before that junior starts. But here's what we found: you put the order up to where it fits 90. You don't have 90% conflict, right? You've got 90% non-conflict. So you're going to have that 10%, those 1 or 2, 3 or 4 people. But after you post that and you stay on that, people will adapt to that race order, and they figure out how to get it done. And they know when Kid Kart's still up, they know, boom, World Formula is up in 7 minutes, right? They know that mentally. And event after event after event, they don't even think about it anymore because they know where they're at versus, well, man, we were here this, last month, and now 3 weeks later, our next race, now our race order's over here, and that causes a lot of confusion. It's just one of the little details we found that worked real well.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency. So, go through the events the same way. Start off with that driver's meeting. Start off with talking to your officials. make sure that tech's lined out. Just, there's a lot of details in that process bucket when it comes to an event day. Be knowledgeable of the rule book. We all make mistakes. It's going to happen. It's just the nature of being human. But put in the time for the rule book, put in the time to communicate to everybody at the headset that everybody is following the same process. So it just helps that event go very smoothly. I should say more smoothly than if you just kind of wing it. So.
Well, absolutely, and and you can't really expect the racer to. He doesn't know what's going on. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's just common courtesy to them. Hey, we're at your event.
Yep.
We want to help make it as quick as we can. But if we don't know what's going on or where we need to be, we can't help you in that.
You're scattered, right? You just get scattered out. So here's a question I pose. This is just this is being devil's advocate, but for most people. For most people, if you work you have a job, you're not self-employed, you work for somebody. If you didn't have to report at work at 8 o'clock, when would most people show up to work?
Probably 10 after.
Right, or 15 after. I mean, then there's those self-starters that are going to get there, 15 minutes early, regardless if they have to or not. But if that's open-ended, right? That's really what we're talking about here, is having a process to be accountable and to get things done and make sure things run smoothly. So I always bring that one up. Hey, what time do you guys show up to work if you didn't have to be there at 8 o'clock? Yeah, 8:15 probably. Oh no, something came up. I'm not gonna go until 8:30 today. So again, it's lining out those processes and sticking to it.
Yeah.
The last one, I'm gonna make this one quick. How much time we got, Terry?
We got about 5 minutes.
Okay. So accounting, that is process. And I know we struggled with it in the past years, and different methods by everybody's positive efforts. I mean, people really try, right? Our volunteers, in the treasury role, everybody really tries, and sometimes they put things together that make sense for them, and it's easy for them. But then it comes on to when you have to pass the torch, right? And you kind of look at this and go, wow, well, where's this and where's this and where's that, and what was our revenue in pit pass sales? What was our revenue in first entry, second entries, transponders? That accounting process has got to be one of the most important processes that I think the clubs ought to get figured out and get something put in place. We use QuickBooks, and it's our treasurer, Jen Anderson, bless her heart. She put 3 years of historical paperwork into QuickBooks, and then in 2016, we'll start off with this year, with this year's events. So that took her quite a while to do that. But we wanted that information in there so we could have some historical data of where we were tracking. At least just an idea was better than nothing. So that accounting process, I don't know what you guys have seen. What do you guys use?
What do you see with your accounting processes? I mean, are you guys using QuickBooks? No, they're not. So, I mean,
they're not, okay.
So is it just, I think Lorenz takes care of she's the treasurer, correct?
Yes.
So does she have a process that she just does and you just trust her with it, or?
We have a paper trail that follows us around and access by a few different people to our accounts to follow it. That's how we pretty much take control of it, I would say. QuickBooks is a great way to do it. Our first year to even have a computer in the club was last year. As soon as we got our scoring system, so we're working our way through that as far as creating our database now, and hopefully we'll be able to get there. But so far, it's just been kind of slow.
Yeah, Lizzie, and I, I'm not picking on you at all, but I take a look at that, and whether it's QuickBooks or Peachtree, QuickBooks you can do out on the cloud. And by the way, I'm no expert in that area. I just know that it works, and accounting becomes very important. And I'll give you a couple of examples. There's been some challenges at various clubs. I know in the Northwest, I'm sure it's across the U.S. But what happens when you don't have that process in place, and you think you have $20, $30, $60, $80,000 in a bank account, and you have some people transitioning in, people transitioning out, and then all of a sudden you're missing $30,000, $40,000, or the amount that you had wasn't, or what you thought you had wasn't actually accurate, right? So with that accounting system, it keeps everything above board, and I think it instills and supports transparency, allows you to do some analysis. We're using it now that we've got some historical data in there. We're going to this year will be the first year that we put together what we call a soft operating budget. So in the beginning of the year, which is now, we've got a club meeting coming up here next Tuesday. We'll be talking about a soft budget. What we plan on spending on facility improvements based on what projects we want to tackle. What we expect in wristband sales, in first entries, second entries. It gives you all the revenue information as well. If we add $5 to our pricing, what does that do in the overall big picture? It adds $2,000, $2,200, or $1,500, or $10,000. Well, if you have that data and that process is out there, you can pull the raw data and apply the numbers to it, and you'll know exactly what it is, right? So that accounting is the life support, or it should be the life support of the backbone of every organization and club that's out there. At times, too, and I'll just end with this: transparency. The members have the right to know. So if the members inquire about, where's our financials, it's the responsibility of the club officers and the board as an entire leadership group of the club to produce that information. And you may choose to produce it in varying levels of detail, but they have the right to know because they are a member. It's no different than going down to your city hall and asking for a city operating budget and a financials. You have the right, and it creates, when you don't, it creates rumors, it creates animosity, people start making up stories, and usually they're false, but it just creates a headache for you. So that accounting process, man, get that put together and let it help you.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's our second bit of business with every one of our club meetings, is to explain where the last month's finances went and where we are at this given point. And definitely it does put people's anxieties at ease to know where their money's being spent. So I agree 100%. On the same token, we have been taken advantage of before, so I do know where you're coming from. It just sometimes it's a slow build.
Yeah, it is, and I'm speaking to everybody listening, and it's important. It's that important. So I was going to get into the facility side real quick, but you know what, folks, it just continues to follow the same. The process is the same in each one of these groups, each one of these segments within the organization. So get those processes defined. Be flexible when you got to make course corrections or improvements, and keep it positive. But put those processes together. Stay tuned. So they help you. They help you conduct business. They help you conduct successful race events. You have participants. They enjoy the event, and it's all for the better, right?
Exactly.
Well, Matt, Ray Smith, anyway, we appreciate you taking the time out of your evening and giving us some feedback on this. I think it's super huge. I think everybody's going to leave here a little bit more knowledgeable than they were when they came here. So we thank you for being on the show, and I'm going to talk to you about a couple things after. So I'll give you a call later on if you're still going to be up.
Okay, you bet, Terry. Thank you. I appreciate it. Terry Lippy, thanks for having me on again. Terry, thanks for supporting the 3 Ps. Huge shout out to everybody listening, everybody logged in. We'll get those gift certificates out to your organization, and I would hope that you donate those out to the members in some fashion. Do a P-pick, put it on spot number 4 in this race, or whatever you do. But again, appreciate the time. Huge shout out to Northwest Race Report. Thanks again, Terry.
You bet, Ray. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Lippy.
Ray Smith, everybody, Snake River Carter president, and he is also the IKF governor of Idaho. Don't go anywhere. We got Lappin' with Lippy coming up. We've also got, we're going to hear from Aaron Nelliton, going to be checking in, our new out there reporter. But first, we're going to hear a little ad from our good folks at O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies.
Hey, racers, Glenn Tower here from the Northwest Race Report. You know, with the invention of the internet, our local go-kart shops have really taken a huge blow. One of the great go-kart shops out there is O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies. They offer a great selection of carts, parts, and service. We all want to win, and O'Hagan's wants to help. O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies, Lebanon, Oregon.
All right. Well, we're going to... How much time you need, Lip?
I've got a short one today.
Well, we got it. So we're going to head into it. And coming up next is Lappin' with Lippy.
Thank you very much, Terry. Tonight's Lappin' with Lippy is brought to you by Scott Seal Coat. For all your asphalt sealing and striping needs, call Scott Seal Coat. We'll stripe it or seal it, whatever it needs. Give us a call. So tonight, this isn't necessarily about go-karting, and it is. So tonight on Lappin' with Lippy, I want to talk about your online presence. This is the stuff that you post on social media. That's what I'm getting at here. So it's very important, very, very important. It's people's first look at you. It's what you stand for. It's who you are. It tells a story about you. A lot of people make a snap decision about you and what they see online. So I know that recently I have gotten a lot of friend requests. I look at every one of them. If you have stuff like thugs with guns, half-naked ladies, burning Muslims, bad-mouthing presidents, whatever it may be, a lot of you just put up stuff that I don't want to look at. So that's probably why I haven't granted you onto my friends list. It's because I really don't think people, even our younger youth today, they just don't get what they're putting up online. They don't understand that it tells who you are. And I don't want to be part of that sometimes. So if you haven't got a friend request by me or from me, that's probably why. I'm really not a prude. I do like guns, and I especially like ladies. But I have a certain sense of responsibility because of who I am and what I do. That is something that is not going to help my club or me in the direction that I want to go. If you send me one and you don't get it back, that's probably why. So, think about what you do put online. The same goes for my club. I don't let everybody on there. You need to be oriented in the direction that I am in. and then you can get in. I know that doesn't sound, maybe prejudice on my part, but that's not what it's about. I just don't want to muddy the waters that are already murky by what's out there. I like things to stay clear, and I like things to happen the way they are. So, I'm all about cart porn. That is, posting things like what you're doing, new bodies, new engines, new motor combinations, innovative stuff that you're working on. That all is important to me. But you want to get right in, that's the way to do it. I know that, some of you are saying that maybe, it is racist or judgmental, but it's really not. I'm just looking out for what's best for what I believe in the sport that I love. So, what I'm getting at is be responsible and post things on your private and your media sources that reflect what you want to be known as. We all have that side, but you don't have to show it. It's not best to have it out there for everybody to see. Let your friends in, but don't let everybody in. So all I'm getting at, people, is just before you hit the share button, just think about this. Do I want my mom to see it? Do I want my pastor to see it? Because if you're going to be my friend, that's who's going to see it on my friends list, is my mom and my pastor. And that's why I have to think about that. And that's why some of you still are not my friend. So it's not personal. It's just what I believe in. Lippy's out.
Wow, that's awesome. Lippe. Well, that was Lapping with Lippy. And it is a big deal. It does. I took note of this. Mike Collins was kind enough to bring it to my attention, and you just you have to pay attention to that. And it's sometimes it's hard to not, right? I mean, you just get carried away. You're just so used to doing it, and hey, but it does. It goes a long way, and it helps keep our sport where it needs to be. We got a lot of youngsters looking up to a lot of us, so.
That's exactly it. The wife and I went round and round about this, and she said that was her ad lib in there about being a racist and judgmental, and questioned some of my reasonings for wanting to do this one. But it speaks volumes. And don't get me wrong, I am not a prude. Like I said, I love guns and I love ladies, but there's a certain time and a place for everything, and I don't think that. We all take for granted that, just a few people are going to see what we post, and that's not true. The world sees what we post online, and especially our youth. I just don't think they get that. I don't think, a lot of them are going to look back at this in 10, 15, 20 years and go, oh my God, I really put that online? Really? I did that? And yeah, you did. And man, really? So
it is. It's pretty important, and it's good for us to be reminded of that from time to time, because it is hard. Well, we were going to talk to Aaron Nelton, but I know he's got twins and he just got back from a long trip, so he's probably tied up taking care of his twins. So we'll get him next week. But just to let you know, he will be calling in, doing some reporting from some of the big events from the sprint side of things, since there isn't a whole lot of it up here. Other than the local clubs in the Northwest Gold Cup, which, of course, we will be covering. But by the looks of things, Lippy, Salem is the killer by a long shot.
Yes, they are. They pulled it down. I got 19 so far. And let's see here. The TCKC came in with...
looks like 8.
Yes, 8, and Snake River is now pulled into third, so actually they're tied with CKA. Nice. Oh,
yeah, looks like PKA was picking it up just a little bit.
Yep.
They're up to 4.
They're up to 4.
So we appreciate that, everybody. And most importantly, I hope you guys tune into the show because you enjoy hanging out. I know, we try to get the content here. something that will be of interest, that'll keep your interest. I know it's a long time. We try to have the segments and we try to add different stuff so you guys can have something different. But, I mean, again, it all boils down to we need to hear from you. If there's something that you would like to see covered or talked about and we aren't talking about it, by all means, let us know. We try to go and take each big event that we're either going to be a part of or that's coming up, and we try to cater the guests to that. For example, the Cage Cup. We got Dylan Lamberth going to be coming on next week, and then we've got Matt Enos coming up the week after that. That's all for the Cage Cup. So just because maybe you don't hear what your genre of racing is doesn't mean we don't like it, or doesn't mean we don't cover it, or it doesn't mean that we're not going to. It just means that we try to pump and promote the big event that's coming up around here. So Gold Cup time, you'll see that we'll try to have some of the Gold Cup drivers on. Like we said, we had Ray Smith on, who is the he's the IKF governor for Idaho, the IKF board. He's trying to do some good things to bring the Gold Cup back and get things going. And so Lippy, that brings up the point I was talking about the other day. It was like, we preach so much to the asphalt guys to come try the dirt. Maybe we should practice what we preach and grab some of the asphalt guys and head out to a local club race or a Gold Cup, or show up and get after it.
Definitely. I would love to go to do some sprint racing. I would love to get in a kart. We have one. It's hung on the wall. But I've only been to one race ever, so I would love to travel around a little bit and get to know some of the racers and some of the different tracks. And I would love to take a spin in one. I really would.
Absolutely. So it looks like I'll have to get a hold of Ray Smith, but it looks like the race order goes Salem Speedway. The Salem Club is your winner, with Tri-City Kart Club coming in second spot. Third will be...
It's Snake River and CKA coming in there.
And that's a tie for third?
So far, yep.
Wow. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Man, I think that has to be a record on the chat line. At one time I saw 92 on the chat, so that was kind of pretty awesome. Saturday night shootout. Put it on your schedule, Lippy. And I'm telling you, man, I went to last year's and it was... Ooh, baby, it was off the chain.
Where's that at?
Tri-Cities.
Tri-Cities.
Yeah, it's a remarkable track. It's they've got night lighting that's like second to none. It's just a great outfit. The whole bunch is just fantastic. You never have a bad time when you go to Tri-Cities. I mean, it's just it's awesome over there. So
looking for a road trip, so I might just put that on my schedule. And for all you folks out there, I'm going to be tallying this one more time. I mean, Salem did pull down first for sure, but I'll try and get some names and some tallies put together this week of who was what and where. Just for those that want to know, i.e. Jason, I will try and get that through to you so you know who your loyal people are.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guests, Ray Smith, for taking the time and just doing some great things for the sport of karting. You can definitely reach him. You can reach him on Facebook. His name's Ray Smith, or you can get a hold of the Snake River Karters. Do that if you have any questions. I know he'll be more than happy to, help you out or clarify anything that you didn't have. What I'm going to try to do, I think, is get with Ray so we can, I think this is important enough where we can actually get him in here to the studio or get somewhere where we can really record it and put up the recording of just a whole show. It's just a whole segment where we can cover all these, and then you can listen to it all in one time frame. So that's something that I think that would be kind of cool for that. But
for sure, there's loads of information there, and good information. What he has to say is really what you can build an organization or a club on, is just following what he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really huge. And again, man, I just can't thank Ray enough for being on the show. Can't thank all of you for tuning in and supporting the show. That's what keeps us going, right, Lip?
It is. What keeps us going. It gives us inspiration. And like Terry said earlier, if there's something you want us to hit on or a topic or whatever it is, just reach out to us. We're real approachable and willing to do it. As long as it is race related, we're down with that. So.
Absolutely. Great. Big shout out to our huge sponsor of the Northwest Race Report, Scott Seal Coat, Wicked Fabrication. And, of course, wouldn't go anywhere without them. The good folks at Blue Line Graphics. And don't forget this weekend, huge event at Salem, the Bounty Race. Lindsey Barney, is she going to stay undefeated or is she going to get beat?
Amen.
$600 to somebody who's going to do it. So my question is, if she wins, does she get the $600?
That was mine, too. Yeah, I hope she does because she sounds like she's bad fast. So.
Yes, indeed. I don't care how you're undefeated. If you're undefeated, you're undefeated. So thanks again, everybody. We'll get the tallies up. We'll let everybody know. Big shout-out to the Doc's Photos. Go to docsphotos.com for some of the best race action photos anywhere. And we'll see you guys next week. We appreciate you tuning in. And, again, you can reach us on the Northwest Race Report on Facebook or hit me up at northwestracereport@gmail.com. Be sure you stop by our website and take a peek at it, terrybridges.com. We've got a Lappin' with Lippy page. We've got a Find a Race page. We're getting that all worked out. So good things happening on Northwest Race Report. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate all the great support. See you next week.